Today we're going to be talking about Sung-jin Woo, the original king of flex. He is probably one of the best glow-ups in manga history. I'm going to protect my family even if it means turning all the world's hunters in the world against me. That's something that Sung-jin Woo said when he was talking to Li Zhuang, the top hunter in China. So the personality of Sung-jin Woo is that he's a very humble hunter because he really couldn't protect anybody or do anything. But when he started to increase his power level, he'll be humble even though he was probably one of the most powerful hunters in Asia at the time. So the history of Sung-jin Woo, I'm not going to get into specifics because it's basically going to spoil the whole premise of solo leveling, but he was the only person I saw in manhwa that went through a crazy gigachad transformation. This guy went to, let me get a hug to don't hug me. This guy went to he was the worst hunter in the world, and he couldn't even protect anybody, and a lot of people got killed because of him. But then after that, he went ahead and leveled up through the system that the architect gave him, and throughout that system, it really trained him to become a man and somebody that people could depend on. He was the only one that could actually solo level. He was the only hunter that was able to go ahead into a dungeon and solo clear it by himself because of the powers that the architect gave him, which were the Shadow Monarch's powers. And so he was the only one that was able to go into a dungeon and just completely clear it in 5 minutes because he had his army, and he was also probably one of the strongest hunters at the time. Raised to the rank of S-rank hunter in only a couple of months, which was never heard before. You can't, in the world of solo leveling, you could barely even, you can't even change your rank. And so it was a shock to people in the world that this guy came from E-rank hunter all the way from the bottom to the top. And he also went through a body transformation. He went from a scrawny little kid to a guy that looking like David Lade. He transformed like this is because the system basically gave him workouts and plans for him to become a lot more stronger. And in those workouts, he basically had to do a set amount of workouts every day. I think it was a kilometer run, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups, kind of like the One Punch Man training regimen. But the only difference is that if he didn't complete that amount of push-ups, sit-ups, or a kilometer run, then he would have to go to a danger zone. It's basically like dragons and basically huge scorpions trying to kill him. So if he didn't complete a workout, he would basically his life was in danger. So the powers of Sung-jin Woo, he had superhuman strength because in the manhwa, he basically destroyed almost all of his opponents without really basically destroyed gigachad. And then Thomas Andre, the ruler, he destroyed him, and then he also destroyed the Beast Monarch in 4 hits. So it really shows how strong that guy was by the end of the manhwa. And he was invulnerable. He was immune to poisons, diseases. He's basically the manifestation of death, so it wouldn't make sense if death could die to poisons, debuffs, and diseases. And he was also immune to physical trauma because you can't really hurt the shadow. He also had a crazy regenerative healing factor due to the system, which every time he slept, he would be able to heal any wound that he occurred in the previous battle. He also had he was broken in his XP level. This guy was boosted in his level. He was boosting crazy. He was able to become the strongest hunter in Asia in only a couple months, which was never done before, and nobody could ever change ranks. So that's probably one of the most amazing feats that Sung-jin Woo did in solo leveling. And he also had ruler's authority, like I've talked in previous videos. He was able to take control of an object and kind of just move it around. He did it to a couple of enemies. He did it to Beerus in this fight with the Ant King. He was also able to raise enemies that he had killed before, just like he did to Igris, just like he did to Beerus. All of the strong minions that he's killed before, he was able to recruit to his own army by shadow extraction. He also had shadow preservation, where he could just basically put all the army into his shadow. And then he also had shadow exchange, where he was able to teleport with any shadow that he had stationed throughout the world. And then he also had Monarch's Domain, which basically buffs all of his shadows by 50%. That's basically it for Sung-jin Woo. Sung-jin Woo is probably one of the most craziest transformation that we've seen in manhwa, and he's just the flex god. Anything, you guys have to read the manhwa. I can't really explain it, or I'm just gonna spoil the whole thing. That's it. That's all I gotta say about the second Monarch the second shot on Monarch, Jinwoo. If you guys agree, go ahead and leave a comment on the video and give it a like, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.
Go.